Hallo und willkommen. Ich bin Meister Lenz and you're watching Get Germanized. I think you got the wrong idea about me.
I am bored. What should I do?
Ich weiß.
Get Germanized.
Once again, you have made assumptions about me. I requested that on different social media, and today we're gonna see how far removed from reality your assumptions really are. Or if they're maybe correct, that is a possibility. Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. So I'd say we'll just get started right away with the first assumption. The first assumption comes from Laxait or Laxait. You are secretly a Korean android that acts as a native German who speaks to an international community with a developed platform in order to advertisement across a larger, albeit Wurstabu, deutsches Weeaboo market through ads on his wunderbar videos. What? Okay, yeah, you got me all figured out. Damn, and I thought I could lecture people on what they think about me and how wrong it is, but that dude just, better stop YouTubing now. My mission as a secret Korean spy is over. Okay, you guys need to stop taking whatever you're taking, and yeah, that's all. Stop it right now. The next assumption is made by Sarah Roberts, 85, and she said, you are very organized and have never been late for anything. As we established in the last assumptions video, I am quite organized, I would say, but I have been late a couple of times. We Germans try to be on time, but not always achieve that. So, meh. I mean, you gotta be organized at least a little bit to have a schedule that you have pretty much upheld for the last 6 years or so, since I started uploading 3 videos a week on Get Germanized. I don't think I really ever missed a video, and maybe it was a day late or so, but that's about it. Next up, an assumption made by Mercedes Rojas. So red Mercedes, is that the name? You are not offended by the Gillette commercial. Yeah, that's true. Why would I be? Which one are we talking about? Is there maybe one that is especially offensive? I just know the one where they say "für das Beste, Mann," where they shave while saying that, and it means something along the lines of "for the best thing in the man." And that's about it. If that's offensive to some people, I don't know why it would be, but nah, it's not offensive to me. You are correct here. Next assumption by Paulo Ribeiro, saying, you wish you were Austrian and secretly yodel when you shower. And that's the best I can do, and as you can see, it is not very good, and that means no. I do not wish I was Austrian. I mean, I guess that doesn't necessarily contradict itself, but I do not. But then again, they do have a beautiful country. I do not wish I was Austrian, but Austrian people are cool. I know a few Austrians that are very nice, and I would like to visit their country one day. Austria, not necessarily Australia, which some people confuse with Austria sometimes for some reason. And it couldn't be further from, like, it's so different. Why? I don't get it, the name. Okay, I understand a little bit, but I mean, not that I wouldn't want to be in Australia. I've lived there for a year and it's amazing, don't get me wrong. Sorry if that came across weird. But yeah, anyway, I want to go to Austria one day, but I do not wish I was Austrian. The yodeling thing, well, if weird, bad singing can be compared to yodeling, probably can, then yes, I yodel in the shower. Next up, an assumption made by Hitalia Steampunk fan. Mine is more of a question. My German friends say, no questions, I said. My German friends say that your food is basically just potatoes and pork. Is that true? Also, hallo von Amerika. Sorry if my German is bad, I'm kinda learning by myself. No, that's completely fine. And also, there is a lot of potato dishes in German cuisine, and we eat a lot of pork too, like pork roasts or just pork in general, as cold cuts, as salami and all of that. But not only, definitely not only, but now that I'm thinking about it, there is a lot of meat involved for sure, a lot of hearty foods. Hearty, me hearties. Yeah, no, definitely, might be pretty close to the truth. I mean, we eat other vegetables too, Brussels sprouts, everything else. Yeah, no, not only potatoes. But it is true that the German people do love their potatoes, yes. Next assumption by Venita de Grafenreit, or something like that. You are jealous of Southern Germans. That IY, despite being a northerner, you constantly emphasize Southern Germans as normal Germans. What? Southern Germans as normal Germans? I don't. No. I emphasize that the Southern Germans are the more stereotypical Germans. Not normal, because the rest of Germany is different from the South, for sure. That's why people who only know Germany through movies often think Bavarians are the normal Germans, because the lederhosen and dirndl wearing and yodeling, no, not necessarily yodeling I suppose, but definitely lederhosen and dirndl wearing stereotype of a German is only to be found, mostly at least, in Bavaria or in the South. And that is why I often say, well, if you want to experience real Germany, you should discover, or you should explore more than just the South, because the rest is severely different. Trust me on that. But nothing against the South, if someone's watching this from Bavaria or lives in Bavaria, because the South is beautiful. I always say that too. The South has amazing culture, amazing architecture. I enjoy my time there every time I'm there. So yeah, it's just not all Germany has to offer. John Wunderlich says, you are someone who has overcome several difficult life problems and come out the stronger for them. You have found something that you really like to do as a vocation. Please continue in the direction you've chosen. You are good at helping others. Vielen Dank. Oh, thank you, John. That is, I mean, it's a nice assumption. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, like I said in the last video, which was a little bit deeper than this one, to be honest, more emotional so far. We'll see what's coming. But yeah, you are right. There were some difficult times in my life, but everyone in the world has probably had some difficult times that they had to get through. And I don't want to appear like I'm whining or complaining all the time. But when people ask me, I'm going to talk about it. I'm also not, you know, I don't have a problem with discussing emotional stuff at all. I'm pretty open when it comes to that, and I don't feel embarrassed or shy that I was in a dark place for quite some time and that I had to overcome that. And I hope that can be some kind of inspiration for people who are currently in a dark time, in a dark place, that you can get out of there. I mean, it might not be easy, it might not be quick, but it will hurt less, it will start hurting less, and then your life will continue for the better, and you will come out stronger at the other end. Next up, an assumption made by Eagle T. Mars. Cheap assumption: you don't open up easily, or at first. You are reserved, but once you make friends with someone, you have the biggest heart out there. Do you mean it's cheap because that is what people say about Germans these days? That it is hard to approach us and we don't open up easily? But once you made friends with a German, it's friends for life. Well, I like to think that that's the case. And I don't really give up easily on friends. They must have done something pretty bad, something pretty shitty for me to abandon them, or betrayed me or whatever, and not apologize properly, or like, because if someone apologizes to me, I don't really care what they have done unless it's super terrible. But yeah, I just don't like people who, I don't know, just do stuff behind someone's back, or yeah, like just betrayal in general. I don't think anyone would like that. But I think the truth of the matter is you are not far from the truth, at least when it comes to me. At first I might be a bit reserved, not too reserved though, because I like to think I'm a social person at least. But then sure enough, once I know you better, and I mean once we click on a certain level, if we have chemistry or whatnot, then sure, we are gonna be friends. That's just how it goes, right? Next up, an assumption made by Eloisa Dudok. You have a rather small family. Well, that's kind of true, I suppose. My uncle doesn't have children, for example. He and his boyfriend live in Frankfurt. And my other side of the family, they are relatively big. I have a few cousins and stuff like that. But we don't hang out as well maybe other families do, like for Christmas or stuff like that. My mom is very involved, or relatively involved with them, because her brother is obviously the head of the family there. And I like them all a lot actually, but we don't hang out that much for no specific reason, to be honest. I mean, we all got our own lives and we all are busy, I suppose. We see each other every now and then, and I'm happy when I see him. But the family is not super big. My mom's sister, I think she lives in Berlin somewhere, hasn't had contact with her in years for also no reason really. It's just, yeah, family is still important. I hope it doesn't come off as if family isn't important to us. It really is, but for reasons that are out of my control at least, we are not super involved with our closer family. And of course my grandpa has passed away already, so my grandma as well, and my older brother has passed away, so the family has shrunk for sure, the family that we involve ourselves with at least a lot. So yeah, you're not too far off from the truth here. Another assumption by schläfrig, which means sleepy, cute name. Someone assumed you're homophobic, oh really? But I think it's more likely you're bisexual or biromantic, something along those lines. I am not homophobic at all. Like I said, someone in my family, or actually multiple people in my family are gay, and I don't have a problem with that. Probably also because I grew up knowing that, kind of at least. From some time onwards, and I never thought it was like unnatural or weird or anything like that. So I don't have a problem with any LGBTQ sexualities at all. Like, I don't care. Anyone who wants to live their life that way or any certain way that doesn't involve harming others emotionally or physically, then go for it. Like, I couldn't care less what you do with your life. Anyone should be entitled to, well, the way they want to live their lives, to be honest. As long as they don't hurt others. Also, I am not bi or anything like that. I'm just a normal heterosexual male. Maybe a little bit more kinky than others, but that's about it. That's all my dark secrets right there. Next up, an assumption by Jessica Else. We are in the process of learning German to immigrate. We have a German family in Baden-Württemberg. We assume from many of your videos that you're exactly the kind of person we'd enjoy having as a friend. I suppose our assumption is that you're a fun, down-to-earth, nerdy type like us. Hallo aus, and then the message cuts off. Probably, well, the country that you're from, right? That is a very nice assumption, and thank you so much. Well, I like to think that I'm a good guy to hang out with, or a good person to hang out with, and I am definitely nerdy. As you can see, like I planted some nerdy accessories around the apartment today for this video. I mean, I usually have them displayed somewhere else, but I like to put more interesting stuff in the background and change it up every now and then for you guys. And so that you know what my interests are right away. Basically, that's why I do it. And yeah, I mean, thank you. Again, thanks. Next up, an assumption by Devon Bon, or Dave Bon? Davon Bon? I'm not sure. You seem like a really great friend, and maybe sometimes being too nice gets you into trouble. Well, sometimes, but also, I mean, I'm not always super friendly to everyone. For no reason, at least. For my close friends, I try to be, well, a good friend. I try to be there for them if they need me and all that kind of stuff. But if someone is a butthole to me, then I will not be nice to them either. So I don't want to portray myself as some kind of saint here, which I'm definitely not. But I try to be friendly at least, yeah. Meredith Richardson says, you fear your life is getting stale. Well, don't we all at some point? I mean, I do this as a job because I don't want a stale life, right? I don't want something that I don't enjoy as my 9-to-5 job. Because I recently actually just watched a video on your job is wasting your life. Because for most of our lives, we are going to work at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, most of us at least. And that is the majority of our lives until we go into retirement, and then we have maybe 15 more years to live, which is really not a lot for like the retirement period. So I implore you, I implore everyone who works in a job that they don't enjoy, even if it seems difficult, even if you have family, wouldn't you want to see your family like see that you are doing something that fulfills you and that you enjoy, rather than them seeing you I don't know, slave away in a job that you hate, and they're adapting that same attitude that your job is probably going to be something that you hate and that you just do for money. Wouldn't you rather inspire them to, you know, pick up something they're passionate about and that can possibly even change people's lives for the better? I'm not saying that that is what I'm doing. I just do what I enjoy, and hopefully I can help other people along the way with what I do. And I think the person that made that video, I don't remember actually who it was, my apologies, otherwise I would have mentioned and linked the video, but he was correct. The jobs, most jobs are wasting people's lives because we're just slaving away for a system that just wants to see us work our asses off for a little pay to basically further, well, economic standards for other people and riches for other people. We don't really ever will get to a certain level like that, and if we don't, is it really worth slaving away like that? If we will always kind of be at the same level and maybe a little bit higher at the end of our lives, but we didn't really have fun getting there, is it worth it? I don't think so. So I am confident with, or how do you say that? I'm fine with not being rich or anything like that, but I would rather enjoy what I do than work in a job that I hate, to be able to say, hey, I bought this house, hey, I bought this car, look at me. I don't really care about those things. What I care about is, for example, technology, like this new camera. I really enjoy this because I know that it will benefit not only me, but everyone who's watching the videos, because it looks so much nicer than the one I had before, and I will be able to do more creative things with it. Ooh, shit, did you hear that? A jet just, what was it called? Broke through the sonic barrier. Sonic boom, did you hear that? That's crazy. They always do that in these parts. I'm not sure if they're allowed to actually fly that low. Super annoying. Anyway, I don't care about status symbols or anything like that. What I care about is stuff that can basically work into what I love doing already, like the drone or like the camera, like technology for creating stuff, basically. So yeah, if you work in a job that you hate, change it. Another sonic boom. Great. All in all, I don't fear my life is getting stale because I'm doing everything I can to avoid that. I travel when I can and I create stuff creatively. Yeah, I'm so good with words. As much as I can as well, so yeah. Rachel Lange says, "You are a down-to-earth person with a great sense of humor. The world needs more people like you." Aww, that warms my heart. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if my sense of humor is everyone's cup of tea, but it is my sense of humor and I can't really change it. Sometimes it's pretty childish. If you know Rick and Morty, that show is exactly my type of humor, or The Office. I had to cringe through the first few episodes when I first watched The Office, because it's like this certain type of humor that's really uncomfortable at some points, because it feels kind of, I don't know, we have a word for that in German, Fremdschämen, to feel shame for others. But once you accept that that's just how the show goes, I think it's one of the greatest shows ever made and I really enjoyed it. Same as Parks and Recreation, that's also really good. That type of humor, maybe sometimes a bit childish, slapstick kind of humor sometimes. Yeah, I enjoy that. Negra Monroe says, "You are an only child, or you like board games / puzzles." I am not an only child. I have a younger brother, he is 3 years younger than me and lives in Hamburg at the moment. And I do love board games, not necessarily puzzles so much, but board games. One of the more complex ones, for example, is Arkham Horror, that has like RPG, so role-playing game elements in it. Or games like Gloomhaven, for example. Not everyone's cup of tea for sure, because they are quite long. If you play them, can easily go for 5 to 8 hours or longer. I don't play them often, but I really enjoy them. Or Munchkin, for example, is really cool. Or Western Legends, I tried out at the last board game convention that I went to in Essen, the Spiel, in 2018. Gonna go there this year probably as well again. So yeah, I do love board games because it is very like physical still. You get like a haptic experience, you get to touch figurines and stuff like that, and you get to act a little bit with these RPG games, like if you're a certain character, like a priest or some kind of sheriff or whatnot, whatever you can think of really in like a fantasy world, and that's just fun, I think, and it gets you to spend more time with your friends again in real life, not only online. And so I think it's a great thing that board games kind of have a revolution these days. I also love pen and paper role-playing games for the same reason. I am actually in the process of starting my first D&D campaign for my friends. I've never dungeon mastered before, but that will be, I mean, I have, but not really for long, and not for Dungeons and Dragons. So that will be my first time for D&D, and I'm really excited about it, and I'm a bit scared too, because it's a big responsibility that involves a lot of preparation and work. But I'm psyched. So yeah, I do love these kind of games. Rob Bowlin says, I assume at the end of every video you go out to the pub and have yourself a pint. I should do that probably to reward me, right? But the next pub is actually not that close to where I live. I would prefer an Irish pub, but they only really have them in bigger cities like Bremen, for example. Here where I live, in a smaller town, we have maybe a few of these really old style German pubs where a lot of old people just sit at the bar and are drunk, or just enjoy themselves with a pint of beer and talk. I mean, kind of like an English pub. But in Germany, young people don't, I mean, some of them, but I don't really enjoy myself in there too much, to be honest. I like to go to bars or to Irish pubs where they play music in the background and stuff like that, and I only usually ever go there with friends. So, yeah. Opinion Owner assumes that you are a Russian spy from the past who made a time travel and decided to quit KGB and never become the president of Russia because being a German YouTuber is way more fun. How do you know all these things about my past, guys? It's crazy scary. Like, are you stalking me? Seriously? Damn. Jen Lengier says, you enjoy video games. I truly do. I really do enjoy video games. I have a gaming YouTube channel as well called Germanized Gaming, and I do have a Twitch channel which has a little bit of a complicated name, G3TGG. It's like lead speak for Get Germanized Gaming. So G3, the number 3, TGG, Get Germanized Gaming, on Twitch. Also linked in the video description if you want to check that out and find out what kind of games I enjoy playing. Fyros Fliu says, you are a dreamer in nature who learned to be realistic. Yeah, like I mentioned in the last video, I kind of became a realist, or more of a realist, after experiences that I've made in the past, but I'm still kind of a dreamer, I would say. I don't think that can really be destroyed in a person unless something truly terrible has happened, like really bad. But I mean, you're not wrong, it happened. I'm a bit more realistic these days, for sure, but still kind of a dreamer. Anyway, that's it for another long video. I hope you enjoyed it though. I had a lot of fun with this one, to be honest. And if you have any more assumptions that you have about me, please leave them in the comments. I'm actually gonna make a third part of this series if you enjoy this one, depending on how many likes and comments it gets and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, check out my social media, click the little subscription button here under the video if you haven't yet, or the join button if you want to support this channel. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.